ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
Another setback in the nation's plan to vaccinate Americans for COVID-19 at a faster rate. The discovery that could slow down the rollout to the general public. Plus, local lifeguards are bracing for a busy weekend as we continue to experience this record heat. And the new threats the FBI is warning ahead of President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
And good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson. I am joined remotely by my co-anchor Lindsay Pena. We're going to be checking in with her shortly. First, we begin with the nation's fight against the coronavirus. Today, states learned a promised federal stockpile of vaccines doesn't even exist, causing problems for many of their vaccination plans. Governor Newsom says that California has enough to give booster shots to those who have already gotten the first round. And as ABC's Rena Roy shows us, this comes as President-elect Biden announced his plans to ramp up vaccination production.
5 days before he takes the oath of office, President-elect Joe Biden promising change in the race to vaccinate Americans.
Let me be clear. I'm convinced we can get it done.
Biden vowing to put $160 billion toward increasing testing capacity and a national vaccine program to help states distribute and administer doses. He's aiming for 100 million shots in his first 100 days as president.
And this is a time to set big goals, to pursue them with courage and conviction, because the health of the nation is literally at stake.
Dr. Anthony Fauci telling NBC he's optimistic that'll happen.
We think it's quite feasible that we can do that.
It's all part of Biden's $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, in which he's also proposing $1,400 in direct payment to most Americans and $130 billion to help schools reopen safely. Meantime, the Trump administration facing major backlash after promising to release all vaccine doses rather than holding second ones back. The only problem, despite claims to the contrary by the government, there's no surplus vaccines in Federal Reserve to increase regular shipments, according to the Washington Post.
We were led to believe just a few days ago the federal government was going to release their stockpile of second doses, and that was unfortunately not true. And we were ready to deploy it right away. And now we know that it simply doesn't exist.
In Houston today, 2,600 people booked vaccine appointments in just 16 minutes. In Fresno, California, lines stretching 2 miles long. New York officials warning supply is dwindling.
Our constraint is the federal supply, and that is creating a scheduling backlog.
30 million doses have been distributed nationwide, but just over 11 million first doses have been administered. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
If the county does get more doses, there is growing concern from seniors who don't have access to technology. They're worried that they will be left out or edged out, not knowing when it's their turn. We asked ABC 10 News reporter Adam Rakusin to look into the issue and find out how the government plans to roll out the vaccines.
How do I get it? How do I make sure I'm on the list?
Those are questions advocates say they're answering on a daily basis. Public health officials and state leaders keep pushing out information, but with each day comes more questions. With most older Californians either in line or on deck for the vaccination, some are worried a lack of access to technology could keep them from safety.
A lot of our clients don't have a smart device. A lot of older adults have a flip phone or a landline and no Wi-Fi. So how do you make sure those folks get contacted through the state system?
Paul Downey's the president and CEO of Serving Seniors.
A lot of folks are not tech savvy. And so it's making sure that if there is a phone option, do they have a large enough call center to handle what will be a large volume of calls?
On the state's website, it says most Californians will be vaccinated at community vaccination sites, doctors' offices, clinics, or pharmacies. It does give some other information and links, but I needed internet access just to find that out. ABC 10 News asked the California Department of Public Health how they're making sure people without access to technology are able to sign up and get information about the vaccine. They didn't respond. Locally, San Diego County's website directs people to their provider. If that's not an option, they offer locations and instructions for how to make appointments online. A spokesperson for the county says they're currently working on a system in which individuals can sign up through their providers.
A lot of older adults are very anxious to receive the vaccine.
Downey says he hopes those in charge remember not everyone is technologically advanced. Adam Rakusin, ABC 10 News.
The AARP says their advice to older adults is if you don't have access to technology, call your physician. If they don't have a healthcare provider, they should consult their local public health authorities by phone.
Let us play! Let us play!
A group of high school students and their parents are demanding to be allowed to return to play sports. A rally near Scripps Ranch High School just wrapped up a few minutes ago. Currently, teams are able to get together for limited workouts and conditioning, but games and matches are not allowed by the state. The ralliers say other states have shown that athletic competitions are safe from spreading COVID.
We really want to get the word out. We want our legislators, the CDPH, we want them to just reassess and take a look at things again and come up with new guidelines to get these kids back on the field.
Health experts, including the CDC, says athletics are a significant risk because of the amount of droplets put into the air and because people from several households are in close contact. UC San Diego is reporting more than 300 COVID cases since school resumed January 4th. 245 are students, the other 61 are UCSD employees. Almost all cases right now are being held, or rather classes right now are being held virtually. There are only about 7,000 students staying on campus. The university says there have been COVID cases tied to 20 residence halls, along with other campus buildings, such as the Student Union, classroom buildings, dining halls, and the university's new Target store. And here are the latest numbers on the coronavirus in San Diego County. More than 2,600 new cases were reported today, bringing our total to nearly 207,000. 32 new deaths were also reported. More than 2,000 San Diegans have lost their lives to COVID-19.
All right, turning now to our weather as we continue to deal with this record heat in the middle of January. Lifeguards are gearing up for a busy weekend at our beaches. High surf and warm weather is expected to draw crowds to the coast. Should be nice. Our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Dela Cruz shows us lifeguards are added more crews right now to keep everybody safe.
The San Diego coastline was filling up quickly on Friday. No shortage of surfers in the water or sunbathers on the sand. With warm temperatures and big swells forecast for the holiday weekend, lifeguards know they'll have their hands full.
We're staffed up, our equipment is in good shape, and we're ready to keep the city beaches safe.
Chief James Gartland says they're adding more patrols on land and in the water. He says they've had an active winter with more people getting outside during the pandemic.
It's going to be very busy. The beaches have stayed busy due to COVID. We've had a lot of water rescues. It's been a really good, the end of December and the beginning of January have been really good for surf activities. So we've done a lot of surf-related rescues.
But it's not just surfers and swimmers who need to watch out. Earlier this week, the same swells that shattered planks at the OB Pier swept this woman off her feet.
The last several swells, we've had people just walking around on the cliffs or on the shoreline, and a large sect comes through and catches those people and sweeps them out. When you're walking, if the area is wet, that means the surf has been up there.
Lifeguards say their increased staffing will stick around until the beach hazard statement expires on Tuesday. Jennifer Dela Cruz, ABC 10 News.
And those rising temperatures could be felt from the coast to the inland valleys. Our meteorologist Angelica Campos is tracking the numbers and how long they will last going into this beautiful weekend. Angelica.
Hi, Steve. It feels like we're heading into the 4th of July weekend and not that we're in the middle of January. Temperatures today, 88 degrees in San Diego, tying the record of 88 from 1953. And now we have a long list. This is the first time that I actually have two graphics to show you the records. Escondido, 91. The previous record 87, Ramona 89 degrees today, previous record 87 degrees. Also El Cajon 93, 94 in Poway. Oceanside Airport made it to 92. At the Harbor it was 78. So close enough to the record, but not quite record temperatures there. In Vista 94 degrees, breaking the record of 89. Chula Vista 84 degrees, breaking the record by 1 degree. Carlsbad also made it to the 90s. The previous record there 84 degrees from 2014. In La Mesa 89 degrees, and even Borrego 83 degrees, breaking the record of 81. So here's what we're looking at. Due to the heat and the Santa Ana winds, low humidity is leading to elevated fire danger. So we still have to be very careful with all the activities that we do. And as we head into the weekend, the winds are still going to be a concern for tomorrow. To our north, there is a red flag warning. We don't have one, but the conditions are prime, and in a fire, it would spread very quickly. Coming up in our 7-day forecast, I'll show you when we go back to reality and temperatures will start to cool back down.
I kind of like this reality. I'm going to stick with this right now. All right, thanks, Angelica. And you can keep track of the weather in your neighborhood by downloading our free mobile app. Just go to the App Store and search 10 News.
The FBI is warning of new threats in Washington, D.C. ahead of President-elect Biden's inauguration next week. A new FBI bulletin obtained by ABC News warns of possible explosive devices during upcoming protests. Meantime, prosecutors are now walking back their claims that Jacob Chansley, the self-described QAnon shaman, was hoping to capture and assassinate elected officials last week. Chansley's lawyer says his client is not violent and was just following President Trump's orders.
He felt like he was answering the call of our president.
Thousands of National Guard troops are now at the Capitol, and the California National Guard is heading there as well. The National Mall is also closed through Inauguration Day. And this week, the Joint Chiefs of Staff issued an unprecedented letter to servicemen and women about the violent protest in the Capitol and their duty to the country. ABC 10 News reporter Cassie Carlisle spoke with a retired Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel who describes how this could affect local service members.
Orders are coming down through the ranks after the Joint Chiefs of Staff letter was sent out Wednesday, reminding U.S. military members they protect and defend the U.S. Constitution. The blowback after confirming military members were involved in the Capitol riots.
As someone with a strong military background, when you found out there were military members at the Capitol, what did you think?
As a member of the military, when you see other military members and veterans involved in something which is essentially insurrection, trying to take over one branch of government, that definitely upsets you.
While upset, retired USMC Lieutenant Colonel Hal Kempfer wasn't surprised they were there, knowing the president has a large military following. He was, however, shocked a directive needed to be ordered.
I thought it was extraordinary that the Joint Chiefs had to put that in writing.
Saying he's never seen a blanket order like this. He said San Diego military members should expect their social media accounts to be watched with a critical eye for bias. Kempfer said he wouldn't be surprised if military members were encouraged to remove political stickers. He added the letter gives commanders the go-ahead to lock down their subordinates, whether it's from any political events or confined to the barracks, to keep them from being involved in any activity like a protest that could turn violent.
So if anybody out there had some strange ideas, they were trying to put that to rest.
Cassie Carlisle, ABC 10 News.
Kempfer also said that letter made it clear that there will be a peaceful transition to a new president. Just hours ago, the National Rifle Association filed for bankruptcy in Texas. Voluntary bankruptcy in Texas. The group said it plans to leave New York and reincorporate as a nonprofit in Texas. The announcement follows allegations of financial mismanagement at the NRA. The New York Attorney General filed a lawsuit last summer accusing NRA leadership of using millions of dollars from the organization for personal use and tax fraud. The NRA filed a counterclaim calling the suit politically motivated.